On 7 News tonight, our reporter leads police to an accused attempted murderer. The dramatic end to a Brisbane manhunt.
Hello, I'm Paul Barry. Welcome to Media Watch. And how about that for a scoop? 7 News in Brisbane leads the cops to an alleged killer and is then on hand to capture the dramatic arrest. Credit all round. But hold on a moment while we see what led the news on 9.
A 9 News reporter finds a man wanted over a hammer and knife attack, keeping him calm until police charge in.
Well. So, was it first on 9, as 9 News Queensland was also telling its Facebook followers, or was 7 the one that had the alleged attacker locked up, as its Facebook page was claiming? Come the 6 o'clock bulletin, 7 had no hesitation in claiming all the accolades.
A 7 News team has led police to a man wanted for attempted murder at Norman Park.
On our information, police stormed the house in a dramatic arrest.
But what do you know? Over on 9, it was their reporting team that had supposedly covered itself in glory.
A 9 News camera crew has captured the incredible moment a man on the run and accused of attempted murder was discovered back at the scene of the bloodied hammer attack. Our crew managed to stop him escaping as police came running back to handcuff him.
And 9's reporter had the story of his discovery of the fugitive, who'd unaccountably returned to the scene of the crime, to back up the network's claim.
It was after I decided to walk further into the room and went round the corner there that I saw this man sitting on the bed. I said to him, "Don't move, stay there." I then backed out and told the others what I'd seen.
Well, that's funny because 7's reporter was also taking credit for finding the man that police had been searching for and then tipping them off.
7 News found him sitting calmly at the bloody crime scene. Our crew called 000 as the wanted man sat on the couch.
So, amidst these competing claims from 7 and 9, we asked Queensland Police, who had tipped them off and brought the alleged attempted murderer to justice. And they told us
both journalists, as well as a resident of the home, became aware of a person of interest inside. Police received a call from media at the scene and the resident to let officers know that he was there.
Ah, so they both found him and both called in. And both 7 and 9 knew that's what happened, because they couldn't avoid showing shots of both reporters at the scene, on the phone to the cops at the same time. So, well done folks, you tied for gold, but then spoiled it by refusing to share the prize. But now, from crime to real estate, and a brilliant new way to climb the property ladder. At least that's according to many in the media who tell us it is great.
Sydney's surging house prices have left many people thinking there's simply no way to get into the market. But a new company is letting aspiring homeowners invest directly in some of our most expensive suburbs, with shares from as little as $57.
$57. Wow, that's so affordable just about anyone could do it. So, how does it work? Cue the young CEO of BrickX, who's been doing the rounds of the Australian media in recent weeks and is more than happy to explain.
We buy a property which is split into 10,000 units, or bricks as we call them, and investors can then buy those bricks and earn the rental income and potential capital gains from those bricks.
Sounds fantastic. And earlier this month, ABC Lateline followed the pack and brought us a 5-minute puff piece for the company, which has only been around for 9 months, with the CEO again meeting one of his happy customers.
Welcome to, nice to meet you, welcome to our Bondi place.
How exciting.
Yeah, I hear you're an investor in Bondi. How many bricks do you own in Bondi?
I have 5 bricks.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant.
So which 5 bricks are mine? It's gorgeous.
It's great, isn't it? Look at this room and how big this room is.
Wow, this is huge.
And just so close to the beach as well.
I know.
Lateline's story had nothing but good things to say about BrickX, and even suggested, as other media have done, that it could be the magic key for thousands of young people locked out of the housing market.
It makes me look forward to the day where I can say, this is my apartment. Now I think that one day I will have my own apartment.
So who did Lateline get to tell us about the risks and advise us if it is really such a good idea? Well, there was the CEO of BrickX, who told us how fantastic it is. Then there was Tegan, who's just told us how excited it's making her. And then there was Ramon Mitchell, who's on BrickX's property team, who also reckoned it's terrific. But luckily, there was Nerida Conisbee, an economist from property website REA, to tell us
BrickX is a game changer.
An independent voice at last. But no, because as you can see from the company's website, Nerida Conisbee also works for BrickX as an advisor. Unbelievable, eh? So, what were Lateline and reporter Barbara Miller thinking? Executive producer Lisa Whitby admitted to Media Watch it was, quote, an oversight not to have told viewers that Conisbee was on the BrickX team. And she also conceded
it probably would have been good to feature another independent voice in the story.
Well, actually, there can't be another independent voice because there wasn't even one. And that is a serious omission, because there's a heap of reasons not to rush into an investment like this, such as you could earn more money in the bank with less risk because the rental yield is so low. As the Barefoot investor pointed out, if you were to put $100 into BrickX,
it would take you roughly 31 years to get your money back via the rental income, assuming it's rented out continuously, which it won't be, and assuming there are no maintenance costs, which there certainly will be.
In fact, if you were to buy into one of BrickX's New South Wales properties, where the yield is even lower, it could take you more than 50 years. So, you have to rely on capital gain to make your profit, and with experts worried the Sydney-Melbourne house bubble is about to burst, Barefoot Investor has warned
you'd have to have bricks in your head to touch it.
We would have other concerns about BrickX, like how easy it might be to sell your bricks if the market falls. But Lateline canvassed none of them, and nor did 7 and 9 News. And they really should have done, because while everyone dreams of owning their own home, the media need to ask the right questions if they want to help those dreams come true. And, talking of the right question, what would you ask the Prime Minister if you had him on your show? The day after Labor's budget reply, 7 Sunrise had this.
I want to get your thoughts on this, Prime Minister. She started the night wearing a gold jacket and a gold necklace, and throughout the speech, she removed the necklace. Now, there are reports in the newspapers this morning that your MPs thought she took that necklace off during Mr Shorten's speech about battlers and being from Moonee Ponds. Do you know if that is true?
I don't know. To be honest, I've seen the pictures of Mrs Shorten there, but I was paying attention to the speech.
Paying attention to the speech? What's the matter with him? No wonder he's not so popular. I mean, Chloe Shorten's necklace was the day's big story after this exclusive in Melbourne's Herald Sun the night before.
Bill Shorten's wife Chloe removes dazzling necklace midway through reply speech.
And thanks to the folk at News Corp, it became an even bigger story after Mr T refused to speculate about how much it cost, where it came from and why she took it off.
PM Malcolm Turnbull shuts down host Sam Armitage over Bill Shorten's wife's necklace.
Removal of Chloe Shorten's necklace sparks conspiracy theories.
And the story wasn't just in the News Corp tabloids. Many of the group's regional papers ran it too, and so did The Australian, who in due course were followed by the Daily Mail, Mamamia, Yahoo 7, the New Daily and the Huffington Post. So, why all the hue and cry? Well, as the New Daily observed, Liberal MPs reckoned they had mined political gold, and it was they who had spread the story to a compliant media. Or as The Australian told the tale,
Coalition MPs were sent into a flurry texting journalists. They suggested Mrs Shorten had been asked to take the necklace off because it sent the wrong message, as Mr Shorten declared the government's federal budget benefited millionaires and multinationals at the expense of ordinary workers.
So, how valuable was Ms Shorten's high-class bling? Well, as The Australian and news.com.au admitted, it cost just $25 from a chain store. And why was it taken off? The reporter who broke the, quote, story had already offered an answer to this before it all went viral.
When asked by the Herald Sun about why the necklace had been removed mid-speech, Mr Shorten's office said the necklace clasp had broken.
Ah, not so much class warfare as some of the other News Corp headlines claimed, more like clasp. But, trivia aside, how was the Turnbull budget itself received? Well, amid many thousands of words, the verdict was almost unanimous.
This budget's already been dubbed Labor Light.
It's a Labor Light budget.
Like something Labor might deliver.
This, in many ways, is a Labor budget.
But from the media's standpoint, it was Labor with a difference, because if Labor had delivered an increase in taxes, it would surely not have got this feel-good front page in the Daily Telly, showing Scott Morrison off with the fairies, or this charming little sing-along.
Don't worry. Be happy.
Bizarre, eh? Nor would Labor have got plaudits on the front page of another News Corp paper, Brisbane's Courier Mail.
Making Australia great again.
Or this rose-tinted coverage inside the same paper.
Dinky die budget, one for all.
The Age and Sydney Morning Herald missed budget night, or their journalists did, because they were almost all on strike. And when they did return, 2GB's Ray Hadley and his regular guest, Immigration Minister Peter Dutton, both agreed they hadn't missed them. Hadley kicked it off with this great question. Well, more of a statement, actually.
You often talk to me on this program about the Fairfax Press and your disdain for them, which I share.
And Mr Dutton soon came back, when he was given the chance, to observe...
I thought the productivity of Fairfax went up last week, Ray, with the strike, so I don't think lives were affected one way or the other. I think people realise that you can live without reading Fairfax newspapers. I think it's a better way to lead your life. That would be my advice.
125 journalists, or 1 in 4 at Fairfax, are facing the chop, and a Cabinet Minister is apparently happy to see them go. Whatever happened to jobs and growth? Seems Mr Dutton believes those reporters and editors don't deserve a job.
They're out of touch with people, and listeners on your program know that they're out of touch. Now, there are a couple of good journos there, that's fine, but they've got a political, ideological argument to push.
Well, perhaps Fairfax is out of touch. It was one media group that did not jump on the stupid Chloe Shorten necklace story. But Fairfax CEO Greg Hywood reckons that if anyone is out of touch, it is the Minister.
Once again, Peter Dutton shows why no one rates him.
Actually, Greg, it's not quite no one. 2% of the public and an army of News Corp columnists rate Mr Dutton as their preferred Liberal Party leader. Fairfax Media, meanwhile, claims an audience of 13 million Australians. Pretty clear who wins on popularity. And as America's founding father Thomas Jefferson once warned, democracy does need a free and vibrant media.
Were it left to me to decide whether we should have a government without newspapers or newspapers without a government, I should not hesitate a moment to prefer the latter.
And finally tonight, to the passing of a real journalist, the ABC's Mark Colvin, who over many years in the job had his own tussles with politicians, including Australia's Immigration Minister.
These people are being used as pawns, frankly, by some advocates in Australia.
Could you answer my question about the children?
I've already answered the question in relation to the children.
Well, can you give me that definitively? There were no children involved in this incident.
Mark Colvin died last Thursday, aged 65, and he will be sorely missed. For 40 years, he reported for the ABC, first as a foreign correspondent, and then for 2 decades as the familiar voice of PM.
Good evening and welcome to PM. I'm Mark Colvin.
He was warm, he was welcoming, he was honest, he was tough. He was someone you could rely on to ask the questions that needed to be asked. And he leaves many friends behind him.
Mark Colvin, just a force of nature in Australian journalism. I knew him for more than 40 years, precociously talented, whether it was covering bushfires in western New South Wales, famine and war in Ethiopia.
In his erudite and engaging memoir, published last year, Colvin reflected on the many setbacks to his health that had ravaged his body, but did not complain about the hand that fate had dealt him.
So, like the legendary lost dog on the poster, 3 legs, blind in one eye, missing right ear, tail broken, recently castrated, answers to the name of Lucky, I feel that despite near-death experiences and chronic illness, I have had what A.B. Facey famously called a fortunate life.
And he rounded off that life with a cheeky farewell to his 103,000 Twitter followers, published a few hours after his death. Going out in style. And that is all from us. We'll be back next week, the same time. Goodbye.